Welcome to Holistic and Alternative Health for African Americans, where we are on a mission to heal African Americans using natural modalities. Please visit our website at healingafricanamericans.com. Today, we are talking about potassium deficiency because it will cover a lot of the symptoms you guys complain about, a lot of the questions I get about dizziness and dandruff and some other symptoms we are going to talk about can be traced back to a potassium deficiency. So potassium is important, right? Potassium is an artery softener that helps keep our arteries flexible and resilient. Potassium fights viruses and bacteria. A deficiency in potassium can lead to premature aging. It can cause bad skin and bad muscle tone, particularly right now. If you live in a drier climate like I do, I live in Colorado, and right now it's really, really dry. It's always dry in Colorado, but in the winter months, it's particularly dry, and my skin shows it. So we have to be very mindful about what we do with our potassium. So, it's important that we know that every 90 days, a new bloodstream is built. Every 90 days, we get new blood. And that blood is built by the foods we eat, the liquids we drink, and the air we breathe. I'm going to say that again. Our blood is new every 90 days. And the quality of that blood depends on the food you eat, the liquids you drink, and the air you breathe. And from that bloodstream, new cells are made. So, potassium plays a big part in that. So, we want to make sure we get our potassium levels up. And by the way, the banana industry did a really good job of making us think that bananas are high in potassium. They are actually very far down the list of potassium high foods. Just putting that out there. So, potassium is what goes into clogged arteries and cleans it out. So if you have any type of clogged arteries, if you have erectile dysfunction, if you can't think clearly, you might have clogged arteries. And potassium is one of the great detergents of the arteries. So let's get our potassium up. Now, how do you know if you are potassium deficient? Well, lower back pains is one of the signs, or shooting pains. If you have shooting pains throughout your body, you are probably potassium deficient. Now, you can also get shooting pains. And that's how I know when I'm deficient in potassium, because I'll get just a shooting pain, like your foot might hurt for a second, then it goes away. Or your arm might hurt for a second and it goes away. Those are shooting pains that are indicative of potassium deficiency. If you get dizzy when straightening up after leaning over, if you have a dull morning headache when you wake up, just a little headache that not too painful, but it's there, it's noticeable, you might have a potassium deficiency. If you have a body that feels heavy, dull hair, itchy scalp, dandruff or balding, if you have bloodshot eyes, itchy eyes, sore eyes, or watery eyes, you are probably potassium deficient. If you have a loss of mental alertness, you have a memory lapses, if you're finding it hard to make decisions, if you tire physically and mentally with very little effort, you are probably potassium deficient. If you are impatient or irritable, if you experience bouts of depression or you can't get things done, if you have chronic fatigue, or if you have ear ringing or ear buzzing, you are probably potassium deficient. So, like I mentioned earlier, bananas are way down on the list of potassium. One of the great sources of potassium that I love and always recommend is organic, with the mother in it, apple cider vinegar. And so I'm going to give you an apple cider vinegar description. And description is the word we use instead of prescription, because we don't prescribe. What we do is describe the proven health benefits of anything we recommend. So, if you are considering using apple cider vinegar to assist in your weight loss journey, uh, the description we recommend is using half a teaspoon of honey and 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar 3 times a day. That will help your weight loss. Mix that with some water, of course. Now, if you are underweight, you can also use apple cider vinegar because apple cider vinegar has enzymes that we need to process vitamins. So for that description, take 1.5 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar plus half a teaspoon of honey and take that 3 times a day. Now, it seems counterintuitive, but that's what happens when you do things naturally. The body knows what it needs to do when you take something. If you want to detox, you can take 6 ounces of tomato juice and 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar between meals to help to detox. Now, I also want to remind you guys that you should talk to somebody, a professional, about your specific circumstances and if this is right for you before you embark on it. And you can contact us. We can do that for you or find somebody in your area. Okay, sore throat, a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar and warm water. Make sure it's not hot water, just warm water, because the hot water will kill the enzymes in the apple cider vinegar. Okay, gargle with that. And also, when you begin to do any type of fasting or healing or detox program, you should gargle with apple cider vinegar to help get rid of the mucus that's in your lungs trying to escape. Okay. If you're dealing with any heart issues, 2 or 3 drops in half a glass of water 3 times a day is good. If you want to shrink and tighten and tone your stomach, take 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar with parsley and celery and a little bit of water once or twice a day. What else? High blood pressure. You want apple cider vinegar and honey 3 to 5 times a day. And you also want to fast more regularly. If you have high blood pressure, you want to fast more regularly, especially when you're doing an apple cider vinegar remedy description. Now, remember, the body is self-healing and self-repairing, and there are no cures for diseases, but there are ways that we can help our bodies to heal themselves, and that's what we're doing. So that was my short and quick video on potassium and apple cider vinegar. Remember, we are a nonprofit organization and we are on a mission to heal African Americans. So, if at all possible, support us so we can continue to provide free alternative health information to African Americans to help combat the systemic racism in healthcare, because that's not cute. So, it's time we take our healing back into our own hands. Again, visit our website at healingafricanamericans.com. And until next time, remember, eat proudly, laugh loudly, drink life, and think right. And remember, laughter should be the only thing that hurts.